I used to think that rising above everyone else meant outworking them, outsmarting them, or making more noise. But as I dug deeper into the teachings of Stoicism, I realized something profound. True power isn't about domination or recognition, it's about mastering yourself. The Stoics understood that real strength comes from within, an unshakable mindset, a calm resolve, and a clarity of purpose that no one can touch. In this video, I'm going to share 9 Stoic secrets that can elevate you beyond the noise, the competition, and even your own doubts. These are principles that have helped me not only endure the toughest challenges, but thrive in ways I never thought possible. And they aren't just about surviving, they're about rising, about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need external validation to know their worth. If you're ready to transform your thinking and take charge of your life in a way that few people ever will, stick with me. These Stoic secrets are timeless, and once you apply them, you'll begin to see the world, and yourself, differently. 1. Don't talk about challenges. There was a time when I thought airing out my struggles to others was helpful. I believed it was a way to release pressure, to feel understood, or even to seek validation. But over time, I learned that constantly talking about my challenges only magnified them. The Stoic approach offers a much more empowering mindset. Don't talk about your challenges, focus on overcoming them. When you vocalize every struggle, you inadvertently give your obstacles more power over your mind. It's easy to fall into the habit of venting about a problem at work, relationship difficulties, or health concerns. However, by doing so, you risk reinforcing a narrative of victimhood. The more you talk about how hard life is, the more entrenched you become in the idea that you're at the mercy of external forces. Stoicism teaches that our power lies in our reaction to adversity, not in the adversity itself. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, faced countless struggles, yet he didn't dwell on them. Instead, he focused on what he could control: his mind, his actions, and his choices. Complaining or venting about challenges only drains your energy that could be better used in finding solutions. When you stop talking about your problems and start focusing on what you can do about them, something incredible happens. You regain your power. You shift from a reactive state to a proactive one. Challenges become opportunities to demonstrate resilience and grow stronger, not barriers that define your limitations. In my own life, I noticed a significant change when I applied this principle. Rather than seeking sympathy or validation from others, I began to keep my struggles to myself and focused solely on finding ways to overcome them. This not only helped me solve problems faster, but also made me more self-reliant and confident in my ability to handle adversity. People started to respect my calm demeanor in tough situations, not because they knew what I was going through, but because they saw how I handled it. This doesn't mean you should bottle everything up or refuse help when necessary, but the next time you face a challenge, ask yourself if talking about it will actually help you, or if it will just reinforce the difficulty in your mind. The Stoics remind us to act rather than complain, to focus on what we can control, and to allow our actions to speak louder than our words. By doing so, you'll not only overcome your challenges more effectively, but also gain the respect and admiration of those around you for your quiet strength. 2. Don't reveal your secrets. We live in a time where oversharing is the norm. Social media encourages us to broadcast our plans, our goals, and our every move to the world. But the Stoics understood the immense power of discretion. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned from Stoicism is this: don't reveal your secrets. Keep your intentions and goals close to your chest until they're ready to speak for themselves. When you share your plans too early, you open yourself up to the opinions, doubts, and judgments of others. Even well-meaning advice can cloud your vision and create unnecessary doubt. Think about how often you've told someone about an exciting new idea, only to have their skepticism dampen your enthusiasm. By revealing your secrets, you allow others to influence your path, sometimes steering you away from what you truly want. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." When you reveal your intentions too soon, you give away your control. You allow external factors, other people's opinions, societal expectations, and even jealousy to shape your actions. The power lies in maintaining control over your decisions and allowing your results, not your words, to speak for you. I learned this lesson the hard way. There were times when I would share my big goals, hoping for encouragement, only to feel disheartened by the reactions I received. Instead of focusing on achieving my goal, I would get caught up in trying to defend it or explain it to others. It wasn't until I adopted the Stoic principle of strategic silence that things began to shift. By keeping my plans private, I was able to focus on what mattered, taking action and moving forward without distraction. When you keep your goals and plans to yourself, you protect your energy and focus. You're not seeking validation from others. You're driven purely by your own purpose. This builds an unshakable confidence that doesn't rely on external approval. By the time you reveal your achievements, they'll be undeniable, and you won't have wasted energy justifying or explaining them beforehand. Additionally, there's a certain strength that comes with mystery. When people can't predict your next move, they can't interfere with it. You maintain the upper hand, staying focused on your path while others are left guessing. This quiet power is at the heart of Stoicism, using restraint to conserve your strength and energy for when it matters most. In a world where everyone is eager to share their next big thing, holding back can be your greatest asset. By guarding your secrets, you preserve your energy, avoid unnecessary distractions, and ensure that when the time comes, your results will speak far louder than any words ever could. 3. Don't talk about your achievements. For a long time, I believed that sharing my achievements was a way to inspire others, to show them that hard work pays off. I thought that talking about what I had accomplished would somehow reinforce my success. But over time, I realized something crucial. When you constantly talk about your achievements, you risk diminishing their true value. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the practice of humility. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful men in history, continually reminded himself to stay grounded. The Stoics believed that true strength doesn't come from boasting or seeking external validation. Your actions should speak for themselves. Talking too much about your successes can lead to dependence on others' approval. You might start to seek recognition and praise, allowing it to fuel your self-worth. But Stoicism teaches that your sense of accomplishment should come from within. If you need others to validate your achievements, you're giving away your power, and your sense of self-worth becomes fragile, vulnerable to the changing opinions of others. I've been there. When I'd complete a big project or hit a personal milestone, I'd want to tell everyone. But eventually, I started to notice how this behavior subtly shifted my focus from the intrinsic value of the achievement to the external praise I was hoping to get. The satisfaction was short-lived because it was built on something fleeting, other people's recognition. The Stoic approach is far more sustainable. Don't talk about your achievements. Let your actions and results speak for themselves. This mindset not only helps you maintain humility, but also frees you from the endless cycle of seeking validation. You begin to find joy in the journey, in the quiet satisfaction of knowing you've done something worthwhile, regardless of whether anyone else acknowledges it. When you stop talking about your achievements, people notice them even more. They see the results, not the bragging. In professional and personal life, this approach earns you respect. People are drawn to those who quietly excel, rather than those who constantly broadcast their wins. It's like watching someone lift heavy weights at the gym without making a scene. They earn admiration not through words, but through the strength they display. By keeping your achievements to yourself, you also avoid the pitfalls of envy and resentment from others. There's a quiet power in letting your actions speak louder than your words ever could. And when the time comes for your work to be recognized, it will be on your terms, not because you demanded attention for it. 4. The power of strategic silence. One of the most valuable lessons Stoicism has taught me is the immense power of strategic silence. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to speak, to share, to broadcast every thought, plan, and opinion. But silence, especially when practiced deliberately, can be one of your greatest strengths. I used to think that being vocal was a sign of confidence and control. I'd lay out my plans and ideas, thinking it made me more transparent and relatable. However, I soon learned that not every thought needs to be shared, not every intention needs to be revealed. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of controlling your words and knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Strategic silence isn't about withholding communication or being secretive for the sake of it. It's about choosing when to speak and ensuring that your words carry weight. When you're constantly talking, people start to tune you out. But when you speak only when necessary, people listen because they know your words are measured and thoughtful. In my personal and professional life, I began to notice the profound impact of this practice. In meetings, I started to speak less, focusing on the key moments when my input could make the most difference. I stopped feeling the need to fill every silence with words. What happened? People started paying more attention when I did speak because they knew I wasn't talking just for the sake of it. My silence made my words more powerful. But it's not just about influence. Strategic silence also protects you. When you hold back from revealing every thought or plan, you maintain control. You keep others from interfering with your process, from offering unsolicited advice that might throw you off course. Silence gives you time to think, to observe, and to act with precision. There's also a mental peace that comes with practicing silence. In a world full of noise, being quiet can be a refuge. You're not constantly reacting or defending your opinions. You're centered, focused, and in control. The more you practice this, the more you realize how often people talk to fill space or seek validation. By contrast, your silence communicates confidence and strength. This lesson is especially important when it comes to dealing with conflict or confrontation. There are times when responding in the heat of the moment can escalate a situation unnecessarily. But by exercising restraint and choosing silence, you can diffuse tension and give yourself the clarity to respond thoughtfully later. The Stoics understood that silence, when used strategically, is a powerful tool for self-mastery. In both personal relationships and professional settings, the less you say, the more your actions and carefully chosen words carry weight. You conserve your energy for what truly matters, and in doing so, you rise above the noise and chaos that often surrounds us. 5. Don't talk about others. One of the most difficult yet transformative lessons I've learned from Stoicism is the power of refraining from talking about others, especially in a negative light. It's tempting to get caught up in gossip or criticize someone's behavior, especially when we feel wronged or frustrated. But as the Stoics teach us, this habit is more harmful to ourselves than anyone else. I've been there, venting about someone who annoyed me or frustrated me. At the moment, it feels like a release, a way to bond with others over shared grievances. But afterward, I would always feel drained and, in hindsight, not any closer to solving the problem. Worse, it often left me feeling guilty for tearing someone down instead of focusing on my own conduct. Stoicism emphasizes that we should focus on our own thoughts, actions and character rather than judging or criticizing others. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, reminded himself to waste no time on what others are doing, but instead to focus on becoming a good man himself. This shift in focus is powerful. When you stop talking about others, you free your mind from negativity and focus on what truly matters, your own growth. Talking about others, especially when it's gossip or criticism, drains your energy. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of judgment, which offers no real solutions or peace of mind. I found that once I stopped participating in conversations about others' shortcomings, my own thoughts became clearer. I had more mental space to focus on my own goals and how I could improve myself. There's also a practical benefit to this Stoic approach. People respect those who don't engage in gossip or criticism. When you're known as someone who doesn't talk about others behind their back, you become someone others can trust. Your words carry more weight because you've built a reputation for integrity. Furthermore, not talking about others keeps your mind free from unnecessary emotional entanglements. You stop comparing yourself, stop feeling superior or inferior, and stop feeding the ego. You focus on what you can control, your actions, your decisions, and your responses to life's challenges. This discipline not only makes you more stoic, but also more peaceful and effective in how you interact with others. 6. Don't talk about your good deeds. There's a quiet power in doing good without seeking recognition. For a long time, I thought that sharing my good deeds or acts of kindness was a way to inspire others. I believed it was important to show how I was contributing, helping, or giving back. But over time, I realized that the need to talk about my good deeds often diluted their true meaning. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned from Stoicism is that true virtue doesn't need an audience. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, wrote that the reward for a good deed is having done it, not the recognition that comes afterward. The more you seek external validation for your good actions, the less sincere they become. I used to share stories of things I'd done to help others, sometimes out of pride, sometimes out of a desire to feel appreciated. But after adopting the Stoic mindset, I realized that true satisfaction comes from within, not from the applause of others. When I stopped talking about my good deeds, I started to feel more grounded in the act itself. I no longer needed external praise to validate what I knew was right. This shift brought a deeper sense of fulfillment. The Stoics teach us that when you perform a good deed, do it for its own sake, not for how it will make you look. If you're doing good to be praised, are you really doing it for the right reasons? The need for validation can quickly turn what should be a selfless act into something motivated by ego. Keeping your good deeds to yourself also helps build a sense of humility. You're not constantly broadcasting how kind or generous you are, which prevents the subtle creep of pride. You remain focused on doing what's right without making it about you, and people respect that quiet integrity. Over time, they notice your actions, even if you never mention them. They see the results, the impact of your kindness, and that's more powerful than any words could convey. This Stoic practice also shields you from becoming dependent on others' praise. If you constantly seek acknowledgement, you start to rely on that external feedback to feel good about yourself. But when you learn to keep your good deeds private, you become more self-reliant, grounded in your own values rather than in the opinions of others. You realize that the reward isn't in being noticed. It's in knowing that you've acted in alignment with your principles. In a world where people often seek validation for their every move, practicing Stoic humility by keeping your good deeds to yourself sets you apart. It builds character, fosters inner peace, and, most importantly, aligns you with a higher purpose, doing good for its own sake, not for recognition. 7. Guard your weaknesses. Build inner strength. One of the most profound lessons I've learned from Stoicism is the importance of guarding your weaknesses. For years, I believed that to succeed, I had to appear strong all the time, even when I wasn't. I thought showing vulnerability was a weakness in itself, but Stoicism teaches a very different perspective. The truth is, acknowledging your weaknesses is the first step toward mastering them and, ultimately, transforming them into strengths. The Stoics understood that real power comes from within. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about how we cannot control the external world, but we have full control over how we respond to it. The same applies to our weaknesses. We can't always prevent them from surfacing, but we can decide how to approach them, whether we'll be ruled by them or if we'll rise above them. I used to let my insecurities dictate my actions, hiding them rather than confronting them head-on. But by embracing this Stoic mindset, I learned to view my weaknesses as areas of growth. Guarding your weaknesses doesn't mean ignoring or hiding them. It means being aware of them and consciously working on them. For example, I knew that my patience was often tested in stressful situations. Instead of simply accepting that I had a short fuse, I started practicing techniques to stay calm, mindfulness, deep breathing, and reminding myself of Stoic principles like focusing on what I can control. Gradually, what was once a weakness became a strength. Building inner strength through guarding your weaknesses requires honesty with yourself. It's about identifying those areas where you feel most vulnerable, whether it's fear of failure, self-doubt, or even procrastination. Once you know your weak spots, you can develop strategies to strengthen them. For me, acknowledging where I fell short allowed me to take action, whether that meant setting boundaries, seeking guidance, or practicing discipline. This approach fosters resilience. When you're not constantly trying to hide your flaws, you're free to work on them openly and grow. And once you develop that inner strength, you become less dependent on external validation. You learn to trust in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you, knowing that you've built yourself up from within. You become unshakable. 8. Nurture your aspirations in the quiet of your heart. I used to believe that sharing my goals and aspirations with others would hold me accountable and push me to succeed. But over time, I learned that sharing too much, too soon, often leads to unnecessary pressure, unsolicited advice, and even doubt. The Stoics teach us to nurture our aspirations quietly, allowing them to grow within before revealing them to the world. In today's hyper-connected world, where social media makes it easy to broadcast every plan and goal, I've found that keeping certain things private has been a powerful tool. There's something sacred about nurturing your dreams in the quiet of your own heart. When you keep them to yourself, you protect them from outside influences and distractions. Marcus Aurelius believed that the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. By keeping your aspirations close, you maintain that control. I've seen firsthand how sharing goals prematurely can lead to unexpected outcomes. You might receive judgment or even envy from others, and that can shake your confidence. But when you nurture your goals privately, you can focus entirely on the work needed to achieve them without being swayed by external opinions. This has allowed me to stay focused on what matters, my effort and dedication to the process. There's also something deeply empowering about working on your goals without seeking external validation. When you nurture your aspirations quietly, they grow stronger, fueled by your own inner determination. This process builds not only self-reliance, but also a sense of peace. You're not chasing praise or approval, you're simply doing what you know is right for you. This doesn't mean you should never share your dreams with others. Trusted confidants who genuinely support you can be invaluable, but be selective. Nurture your aspirations like a delicate seedling. Protect them, allow them to grow, and only share them when they're ready to withstand the world's scrutiny. 9. Embrace the quiet strength within. In a world that glorifies busyness and constant action, I've found it essential to cultivate a sense of quiet strength within. Stoicism teaches us that true power doesn't come from external achievements or displays of force. It comes from the calm, unshakable strength we build internally. This inner strength is what allows us to face life's challenges with resilience and composure. For many years, I equated strength with loudness, with being assertive and constantly on the move. But Stoicism introduced me to the idea that quiet strength is far more enduring. Marcus Aurelius wrote about how we can always find refuge within ourselves, a calm inner sanctuary where we can retreat no matter what chaos surrounds us. This is where true strength lies, in our ability to remain centered when the world around us is anything but. This inner strength doesn't come from grand gestures or public displays of power. It's cultivated in solitude, in those moments when you sit with yourself, reflect, and build resilience. For me, embracing the quiet strength within meant learning to step away from distractions, silence the noise, and focus on what really matters. In those quiet moments, I found clarity and peace. Developing this quiet strength requires regular reflection and self-awareness. It's about learning to control your reactions, to not be easily swayed by external events, and to maintain your calm in the face of adversity. For example, when faced with criticism or a setback, instead of reacting impulsively, I've trained myself to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. This practice has strengthened my ability to remain composed and confident, even in difficult situations. Quiet strength also means trusting yourself. It's about knowing that you have everything within you to face whatever life throws your way. You don't need to prove your strength to anyone. You simply embody it in how you carry yourself, how you handle challenges, and how you live your life. This kind of strength is unshakable because it's rooted in inner peace and self-reliance, not in the approval or recognition of others.